Hi, my name is Bridget Richardson, and I'm the Assistant Director of Ecumenical and Pastoral Initiatives at the Nesty Center for Faith and Culture at University of St. Thomas in Houston. And I'm here with Shundeez Faridifar and David Howe. Shundeez is the Assistant Director of Student Activities, and David is the Associate Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. So welcome, both of you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hooray! Thanks for having us. This is so exciting.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about Celt Success Coaches. This to me is just such an incredible initiative that from what I read online started from Hurricane Harvey, and now you brought it back. So David, could you tell us what it is and how the idea came about?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Bridget. Again, thanks for this opportunity, and thanks to listeners for just taking the time to tune in. And so really, our president, Dr. Ludwig, he's the one kind of, even I think starting with Hurricane Harvey, with a vision to, we need to do a personalized touch to all of our students. And so the initial charge really came from him of saying that this is what we need to do because of our Catholic mission, our Catholic faith, and the fact that we just want to care for our students. And so that became what we're calling phase one, where we're essentially getting 50 different volunteers across the university to call all of our undergraduate students. And phase one has been just so great because what an opportunity, right? When something unprecedented like COVID-19 strikes and our response, right, has to be proportional to that. And then we thought, this is unlike Hurricane Harvey, right, where it is just, an event that still lingers, but the event itself kind of passes. This one's different. We're still dealing with these ramifications, and we will continue to deal with the ramifications. Our students are dealing with these ramifications for a while. And so we are kind of just dreaming about it. It's like, what if we had this on a continuous support basis? Because that's what our students are going to be able to need. They need the initial touch point, and they're going to need this for as long as we're in the virtual educational environment. And so phase two and beyond is we're looking at a smaller group of coaches to essentially take pre-existing faculty and staff members, give them training holistically on how we support our students and what our students' needs are. And then this is going to be the designated person that sticks with this student, contacting those who really need more high touch, and then messaging to a certain cohort. And the idea is to build this in such a way that's nimble, yet sustainable, and so that we can stay with our students for as long as we're in this virtual online educational environment.
Yeah, that's incredible. I think that it's such a unique idea and it's so inspired, right? Like, it's so cool. So Shundeez, I'm interested to know who's doing the calls. David mentioned that there's a team of 50 people. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So we put a call out to all of our staff members on campus, and we were like, who's interested, who needs to pass some time a little bit and give them some jobs. We had input from everyone. We had the athletic coaches helping us. They're helping specifically call some of our athletes and some students beyond that. We have our Veteran Success Center helping us, and they're calling a majority of our veteran students. We have the international office. They're calling all of our international students. In addition to that, our career services department has volunteered to call all of our graduating seniors. So not only are they checking in on them, but they're also helping them, connecting them for jobs once they graduate this May. So that was an interesting factor that I really like. They're putting their own personal touch on it, but also helping them with beyond St. Thomas. In addition to that, all of Student Affairs is helping. We have people in the business office. We have people in financial aid. It's really a cross-campus initiative that everyone has really put in their time, and they're making the call. So it's been fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so cool to see that group effort, kind of like everybody banding together to help those who come to us and lean on us for, their education, but in so many other ways, for their housing, for their food, and that kind of thing. So now that y'all have been talking to students, what have you seen is the greatest need among the undergraduate student population?
I have to say, first and foremost, they're excited to hear another voice that's not in their
Yeah,
house.
that's true.
So
Makes
they're just
sense,
like,
yeah.
whoa, yeah, I can talk. Of course, I have a few minutes. So they get really excited about that. So that's exciting. So I think that one of the needs is just like personal conversation and things like that. And I think we're really already hitting that need because they're excited. Some want to talk for 15 minutes. Some want to talk longer. It just depends on what they're doing at the moment. The other needs that we've been seeing is a lot of our students did lose their jobs during this. So helping their families, whether they did the money to pay for their school or to help pay bills at home and stuff like that. So there's a lot of unemployment issues that's coming up. The other one would be technology needs, moving online. So it could be that their entire family is using the Wi-Fi at the same time. So it's hard for them to get that good bandwidth to make sure that they can be online while they're doing their classwork, but their parents are at work and their younger siblings are also doing their K through 12 work. Or that they're sharing a laptop between like 5 students. And typically that wouldn't be an issue because they do it all at different times, but they're all online at the exact same time. So I would say unemployment and technology are the 2 things that pop up a lot when I've been talking to the students and what the other coaches have shared with me. David, do you have any other ones that?
I think those hit it really well. I think my main commentary was just to say, I think one of the benefits, right? Like our real desire for this call was just to show care towards our students and to hear some of their needs. And the nice thing is that when we get to hear their needs, we can try to nimbly respond. For example, right? As we were going through this, we found out some tech needs. So there were some things we were able to do immediately, working with our partners in IT to deploy the right technologies to some students. And there are other things that we're taking more of a kind of a midterm strategy on, realizing what does our strategy need to look like for this summer, right? So not just immediate needs with technology, but what are some intermediate needs and what might that look like? I think another solution, right, that we'll probably talk more about a little bit later on is that we have the Celtic Care kind of emergency fund. And so utilizing that, as Shundeez said, absolutely, some students and their families, they've been impacted this by financially. And it's not just financially of how do we pay for this bill. For some of them, it's how do we get food on the table, right? And so again, we've already actually been able, through a committee that's been set up at UST, utilizing some of the funds to deliver some of these quick injections to students who need this money now, right, and need this help. And so that's just some of the benefits. Because we're hearing some of these needs, we get to deliver and give a solution immediately, in addition to think about kind of midterm a little bit later on in the semester, in the summer, next fall, how are we rethinking what resources do we need to equip our students with? And the more we can plan that now, the more ready we'll be to actually do that and support our students when the time comes later.
Yeah, I love how y'all are kind of breaking it down, because what you're really speaking to is the most basic needs of the community around you. So what you're doing is almost like a social justice activity for the people who are closest to us. And I think it's just a really beautiful expression of Jesus's love for us in your act. So how are you using this time of personally connecting with the students to bring them into that deeper understanding of care for one another, like not through the phone calls and through the specific things like technology that they need? How are you seeing this as a dialogue to bring them even deeper into the understanding of, like, this is how you care for someone else, this is how you show empathy? Yeah,
that's great. But Shundeez, I think you're about to say something. I was just so excited I was going to jump in, but no, you first.
I start off those conversations pretty simple. I ask them how they're doing, and they're like, wait, really? Is that what you're asking? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, is that why you're calling? I'm like, really? I'm only calling to see what's up. Is everything okay? What can I do to help you? And I think that just starts the conversation off right. And then slowly I get to know them. I learn their major through these conversations. We talk about their future at St. Thomas and what they want to do. We talk about some of the needs, like, is your family healthy right now? Do you have your technology and stuff like that? So I kind of interwove that into the conversation, really, but it's really just connecting with them and seeing if there's anything like, do you want to talk? Is there another time you want me to call you back? just kind of get that personal feeling of like, this is what I would do if they walked into my office. So I might as well do the same thing while I'm on the phone with them. So that's kind of how I've been doing it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I think of it in very similar terms, right? It's because we're motivated by our faith mission. I think when we get to plug into that with students and many of these calls, right, we end by telling them, look, you have people from the institution praying for us collectively and praying for you by name. And so a lot of our students, right, that just brings a peace to them. So yeah, your question of how we show them this love, I think, right, through, I think of two things. One, through our words and through our deeds, right? The words simply, we had some kind of quick training for staff members before we called. And one of the guidelines we wanted to remind people is that listening, the simple act of listening, is an act of love, as in like we are loving our students by listening to what they're going through. So as simple as that, right? And then through our deeds, of course, the actual calling itself, but not only that, right? We were talking earlier, and you mentioned, Bridget, about how there's been like such a rally around so many of this, and including our student leaders whom are going through this themselves, right? I think yesterday I was on a Zoom call with a student senate, so I'm their advisor within my position, and it was an amazing recharging meeting because, first of all, we just had an opportunity to connect, and they had a lot of questions, and they were asking about the needs of students they heard from me. I was asking about students with needs that I heard from them, and one of the things we heard from them was basically, or actually they were talking about how they've been affected by this financially, et cetera. And do you know what they did, Bridget? These are some of our student leaders. There was a rallying point where because part of our student fees go towards paying for our student leaders, such as our senators and et cetera, right? And they also kind of get a budget. And so we're telling them we're training them for like real life type of skills, right? And one of the things that Jack, who is he's in charge of Senate right now, one of the things he asked people to do, he said, look, we've heard about the needs, technology needs for funding from, this Celtic Care kind of emergency fund. I want to see some new legislation, starting almost immediately from some of our lead senators in the various committees on ways we can tap into these things and start supporting our students. And so it's just been so encouraging to see, like, literally this rallying cry across campus, people coming together and wanting to support each other.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it's all about. Like, not only reaching out to the students to support them, but them seeing, hey, I have a voice in this. We can support each other, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, very cool. Well, people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, I want to help out. And I know at the Nesty Center for Faith and Culture, a lot of our students and constituents are already in their professional careers. So what could you advise people who have that desire to help? What should we do?
David, you want me to take this one?
You seem ready. You go.
Yeah, I am ready. So depends on how
they ask. No.
Depending on how they want to help, we have different opportunities. So if they want to give their time and be a part of the coaching aspect of it, or they want to talk to our students, they can email us at celtcare@sttom.edu, and we'll respond to them and get them plugged in and see how they can help. The university is also dedicating their giving day this year to the Celt Care Fund. So if they're interested in helping monetarily, on April 28th is the actual giving day, but they're taking donations anytime before that too. And I can give you the link after this, Bridget, so you can include it.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
well, is there any?
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had some things, like yes to, and double yes to amen to what Shundeez said. Okay. Part of it is as simple as, I think one thing that, everyone can help with is just, we continue to covet their prayers, right? So just please keep on praying for our campus, praying for our leaders, right? All of us are going through this together. And so Bridget, Shundeez, myself, right, we are trying to support others while, of course, also going through this ourselves and trying to support each other. So, we really, really covet people's prayers during this time for our institution and for our students, for our faculty and staff. And so that's one piece. And then I think just the invitation to connect. We know that so many of our students and are always kind of like Shundeez was saying, like looking for connections, looking for mentors of, people that will kind of like have been through a little bit more life and are willing to guide them through this way. And so we would love to facilitate that in whatever capacity, right? They can, Shundeez gave you some contact information. I'm happy to, if you feel comfortable emailing, if you want to text me directly, happy to give you my cell phone. It's 254-640-2911, 254-640-2911. I love to text, so please shoot me a text. And so anyway, we can find friends of the university that really want to give any of those things, their prayers, their time, their talents, their treasures, any of those aspects in whatever way. We love that, and we want to find an opportunity to kind of get them plugged in and be part of this together.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, David and Shundeez, for having this conversation and sharing with us the amazing things truly that y'all are doing to help the students and also letting us join you in that effort. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the conversation.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for the invitation, Bridget.
All righty.
Thank you, Bridget.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay.